What's going on, people? Welcome to United View. What's going on? How you lot doing this afternoon? Welcome to the preview for Man United versus Middlesbrough FA Cup. Man United back in action tomorrow night at Old Trafford, and the press conference reaction as well. So we got a lot to get into. Big up Owen coming through. We saying good?
I'm all good. I feel like I've got a guest with me. Usually I do these on my own. Usually I sort of say I'm gonna. It happens every time I go. I'm gonna be really calm. I'm gonna be rational, and then I'll see a question from a journalist that I think stupid or something. I'll be like, "What a stupid question to say! You've got one question and you've only got one opportunity to say it, and you've ruined it." And then it stumbles into it, and then usually KG comes into the comments and goes, "This is what I live for." So you can experience this with me this week.
Yeah, exactly. Although, however, I think actually, given the circumstances, I actually think it was quite a good press conference. I think
Really good.
Ralph done really well. I think he handled it very, very well. And also, I think actually the questions that were asked were decent.
Yep,
Considering.
I agree.
So actually, there you go. You can have the week off of going, why have they done this? Why have they done that? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Winsley says, big up, lads. Let's hope we hammer the Borough. Yep, 100%. We need to. And I'm going to set you guys a little target as well. Big up to everyone locking in. Let us know where you're locking in from. Smash a like on the video, and please make sure you do just subscribe. We are 82. I've got the live subscriber count up as well. I want to set you a lot of challenge. We'll see how many people are going to end up watching, but we've got 82. We're 82 subscribers away from 95k. It will be amazing if we could hit that during the show. So if you are not subscribed to the channel and you've just come along, or you've been watching us the whole time, but you've just forgot to click that bottom right-hand corner or top right-hand corner, depending on where it is, hit subscribe, and let's see how close we can get to that 95k. You never know. Might even do it in the show, which will be absolutely sick. We've got South Africa in the house. That is sick. All the way out there in SA. This is what I live for, says DJ. Big up DJ, getting his lunchtime fix of United View in there. Big up. Love how honestly Ralph answers the questions. Yeah, I do. It was refreshing. He didn't give too much away emotionally as well, which I thought was good. AB's watching in India. It's 8:32 p.m. there. Okay, and as David Lee says, like, share, and subscribe, guys, please. And we've got Canada as well. Big up to Gabby all the way in the 6. Well, you might not be in Toronto, but yeah, you're in Canada. Right, let's get into it, man. Where's the best place to start? I want to say the Lingard thing, because everyone was saying, you know, club's a disgrace. Ralph's got no power, and Jesse Lingard's brother, whether it was his real account or not, but I think there's a good indication that it is his brother. Yeah. Said, locked up like Akon, cut free Jesse, all of this shit. And then Ralph says, well, I spoke to him 3 weeks ago, mate. Didn't even want to leave. Said he
I mean,
then he changed his mind.
I mean, you know me, I come prepared with all of the quotes. I've got the quotes in front of me. He said, and the question also came from Simon Stone, because I also like to give the journalists their credit as well. This is how I prep. Honestly, the amount of notes I do every press conference is unbelievable. So Simon Stone said, Jesse Lingard didn't get the move he wanted. Was that related to obviously the ongoing situation? What was it about? And this is what Ralph Rangnick said, quote, 3 weeks ago, Jesse didn't want to leave. Then he changed his mind. I had a chat with him 10 days ago, and I could fully understand why he wanted to leave, to get game time for his future and the World Cup. So he also followed that up with, I told him being Lingard, if he finds a club and the club finds a solution with our club, I would allow him to leave. But with all of the developments, things changed. We also had no agreement with any other club. So I think that one is quite telling, because the idea, like you mentioned about Jesse Lingard's brother, whether or not it's his account or not, who knows? But the idea of saying, the last time we were allowed on day release and having a picture of him in a West Ham jersey, that doesn't really jive with 3 weeks ago. You actually wanted to be here, and I didn't understand that. You also see those reports that Jesse Lingard was baffled that Manchester United were checking in to see how he felt about staying at the club in the January transfer window. Well, if what Ralph is saying is accurate, why wouldn't you check in? Why wouldn't you check in and see what your situation was with the situation? Because 3 weeks ago you actually wanted to be here. So
just 1 second, Owen. You carry on. I'm just gonna go out and come back in again, because I've got
you're a bit blurry.
I've got super duper megs. I'm looking at the speed test and it's super fast. I don't know why I'm blurry. So it's a bit of a program thing. I'm gonna come straight back in.
StreamYard's doing the madness again.
It is going crazy. Big up StreamYard. I'll see you in a you carry on.
Okay, I'll carry on. So Fleck's going to jump out. I'm split in half. What was I saying? Yes. To see, this is why whenever I do the press conferences, I'm better off alone. I'm better off alone. What happens? Well, we get into issues. Anyway, the Jesse Lingard thing. Yeah, I do find it a little bit odd, to be honest with you. I do find it a little bit strange because obviously we know that he wants to leave. We know that his situation's always been that he's going to be leaving in the summer and he's not going to sign a new contract. But also on the flip side of things, as Ralph Rangnick says 3 weeks ago, you want to stay. And that seems a bit, it's one of those situations where you go, well, who is, look now you're crystal clear again, Flex.
There you go. Just a little refresh, man. Just a little refresh.
That's all you need. Yeah. So I was just saying that I just can basically what I was saying before, that it doesn't make a lot of sense. That whole desperation to leave, but 3 weeks ago you didn't. And I understand maybe circumstances change and plans changed, and maybe Jesse was maybe in a bit of a situation where it was like, oh, I thought I could wait out until the summer and then the opportunity came up. So now I do want to leave, and Newcastle made me a very generous offer. Maybe that's part of it, but you can't sort of imply that you're being sort of kept hostage by the club, whereby 3 weeks ago you were happy to be with
and also what we have to, exactly. And also with the situation that's happened with Mason Greenwood, like he basically said, yeah, that did play a part in it as well. We're sure. Yeah. Now, that we didn't expect that to happen. Nobody in the world expected that sort of situation to arise, and it did. So, they had to deal with it the best they can. And I was saying, look, even in the after, that's why you have to be so careful before you go saying, oh, he's a puppet, he's a this, he's a that, he's a this, he's that. It comes out now. Jesse didn't even want to leave the football club.
Yeah,
3 weeks ago, didn't even want until 10 days ago. So then it's 10 days to say, okay, sort it out, and then Man United have to find the right deal that suits them. On top of, actually, we are now light. Donny's gone, Martial's gone. Why should we let you go as well? And like I said, the thing for me is, you can look at it and say there's enough players and he's dead wood and stuff like that. He's not playing anyway. But actually, if we've got Rashford, Elanga, and Jadon Sancho in the wide positions. If one of them stops, break down or not in good form or anything, COVID, whatever, we need a replacement straight away. Anthony Elanga's so young. I touch wood. His performances continue, but he's young. He might not be able to keep that level of performance up to the end of the season. It'd be wicked if he does, but he might not. Sancho's been not at his best, let's say, since he's come. So he now has to probably play every game on the right-hand side. If he doesn't hit it off, Rashford might have to go there, or Jesse might have to go there. Or because then when Jesse goes and then Juan Mata's playing right wing, everyone's going to go, typical, this is the club, why did we do this? Why did we do that? And I just feel like in the end, Ahmad's gone. There's someone said there, Palestri. Like, there's no Chong. Like, there's not anything that you could really.
United could end up with a front three that were playing under Louis van Gaal in Rashford, Lingard, and Mata.
Exactly.
That's a real possibility.
Imagine that. Exactly. So I just feel like in the end it was the right thing, and especially it was so telling when he goes, actually, you know what? 3 weeks ago, the guy said he wanted to stay. Unless this is another Martial thing where he's got his wires crossed and misunderstood Jesse Lingard 3 weeks ago saying, I want to stay at the club, then that's what it is. He wanted to stay. So then, you have to put a little bit of this onto Jesse in terms of what we're hearing anyway. It's not, I don't know how factual it is, but if we just go off what we've been told that he did not want to leave until the last 10 days. So
how do you feel about because when he said, oh, I spoke to the board, they couldn't find an agreement with other clubs interested in him. With the window closing in the evening, the board informed me they'd rather him stay. So I could understand that, and I accepted it. It was the two things. It was the situation, obviously, with Greenwood, but also we couldn't find an agreement. I saw some people reacting to that as, oh, here we go. Another puppet, just doing what the board tells him.
They was doing that, yeah.
But on the flip side of things, I do look at it as, but like that, we know that's how the transfer business is run at the club. Like, in what reality, and because in most clubs it's like this now, and I'm not backing the Glazers, obviously, or defending them, but I'm just trying to add a bit of context and reality to certain situations.
Keyword's reality.
In what reality does the Manchester United manager, or any manager really at football clubs nowadays, do full negotiations of transfers? They don't. They don't. So the idea of, okay, the board essentially told me, we couldn't find an agreement, so he's staying. Of course, Ralph's going to go, okay, because he's not doing the
Yeah, I have
negotiating.
to work with him. Exactly. It's as simple as that. And that's what I mean. It's like those days of, it's like the Sir Alex days of where he just did
Yeah, it
everything.
doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist in any football club that I see. I don't see, don't get me wrong. When a team's doing really well, so when Pep and Klopp are winning and stuff like that, they get backed and they get probably a little bit more say. But in terms of the position we're in, where Ralph is an interim, like Rocky, perfect comment here, Rocky. Big up to yourself. He's an interim in capital letters manager. People keep forgetting that. When you're an interim, it means you're on bloody trial yourself. Like you can't rule the rules. You bet you need to arts flipping which way are the toilets. You still can't remember you don't know where things are.
Yeah, he's hammering out survival bonuses with Newcastle. He's not
There you
hammering out covering wage agreements or anything like that. And
Not Football
of
Manager
course,
22, exactly.
yeah, of course he can say to Jesse Lingard, okay, if you want to leave, that's fine. But like I said a couple of times before, that's sort of a token gesture at best because he's not involved. He's not involved in those situations. He got asked about Pogba later on. And he went, well, I don't know, obviously,
Yeah.
because I'm not involved at the moment.
Yeah.
So the idea of him being a puppet, and he might be a puppet for the Glazers, and I don't think he really came out, doing pro-Glazer rhetoric or anything like that. He just sort of said, the board told me they couldn't find an agreement. I'm not involved in that process. And the same way that, again, Jurgen Klopp, Pep Guardiola, they're not negotiating transfer deals. They're not. Like you said, they may be saying, I want this player, or I'd rather this player stayed, and they might have a bit more of a final say on it. But,
or this player's not in my plans. If you don't sell him, he's just going to
figure it out.
Yeah,
essentially. But I mean,
that's how it works. The manager doesn't do everything.
Yeah, I didn't get the reaction of, oh, what a puppet. I just, like I said, I felt that was a really difficult and challenging press conference today, and I thought he handled it very well and actually very direct and very honestly. There isn't a lot of smoke and mirrors when it comes to Ralph. He kind of just says it how it is and how he feels in the situation. So, yeah, I thought, if anything, like you said, I think some of the blame now has to go on Lingard. Going, well, the situation actually wasn't as transparent as you're trying to imply.
100%, exactly. So I don't get why we'd get given that information of actually he didn't even want to leave before. Then he changed his mind. Like it doesn't. Something about it doesn't add up. And when something doesn't add up, I just think either way, just don't go too strong. My thing is like, well, I don't really know who came in with what bids and stuff like that. We don't really know the conversation between Ralph and thing. All we know is what we've been told. And obviously, Lingard is not speaking on it publicly, and Ralph, it's his job to, in a way. He could have just said that relationship can remain private, but he was quite open in saying, actually, well, he told me that he wanted to stay. Then he changed his mind, which actually I do understand. World Cup year, he wants to play. So, he said, Martial, Donny, these are players that deserve to get more game times. And I suppose the fact that he gave the blessing for Jesse to leave, and he told him that he did, says that he put him into that category as well. But then we got hit with a big bomb, and things changed. So there is that.
Like you said, he was complimentary about Donny and Anthony and Ammo as well, because he goes, they deserve to get regular game time. I wish them the best. He didn't sort of say like, oh, begrudgingly, all this kind of stuff. He's like, no, and even he said the group was, in my opinion, slightly too big. These are players that should be playing games. They're good enough to be playing games, and they're too good to be sitting on the bench. So I hope they go away and they're successful. And he also said, I hope they come back in good form. And again, if you want to read into that, he's essentially saying they're going to come back to a completely different Man United that I might not be involved in. So I hope when they come back to the next manager, I hope they're in good form, and I hope they play after that as well.
This is just made me laugh. Ershad said, Flex and Owen equals flowing. And Abab says, the Flowing podcast show. I've never thought of it like that. Sometimes you...
It's a new show, the KO show, Flowing.
Yeah, you gotta have fun. Remember, smash a like on the video if you lot are new to the channel, and subscribe if you lot are new to the channel. Like I said at the top of the video, we are probably about 82, 84, something like that, subscribers off of 95k. So if you are new, we've got nearly 500 people watching, just over about 400, 500. If you are new to the channel, you click subscribe, please do. Want to hit that 95k as soon as possible. That'd be sick. Right, let's get into some of the other stuff that he mentioned in the press conference. He mentioned players who, and this is kind of into the game, I suppose, so we can switch it up. He mentioned the players who won't be playing, because actually, although it was a winter break for like the European teams, I didn't realize until a couple of days ago when I was like looking at some of the games going on around the world, and I was like, fucking hell, Brazil are playing, Uruguay playing, Palestri playing and done well, actually.
Yeah, got an assist.
Got an assist. But yeah, I was like, oh, our players are playing. Tellez played, Fred played. I'm like, fucking hell, how are they going to make it back and play on Friday? And Fred's already back, and lo and behold, Tellez not going to play. Cavani asked for more time, understandable, not going to play. Lindelof, he says as well, is not going to play. So a few missing from this game, but Paul Pogba, is back and says might even start the game as well. We spoke a little bit earlier saying he won't start. He's been out for a long time. But if they do start him, he must be ready.
Yeah, it's very curious, isn't it? Because I spoke with DJ last night about it, going, would you start him? Will he play? And I think the general consensus was that he'll probably come on. He'd probably come on, half an hour left. It doesn't make a lot of sense to start him or rush him back. Well, it's not exactly been rushed back from injuries. Actually, they've staggered it quite well because he's been back training now for quite a few weeks, hasn't he? Or certainly been on the grass for quite a few weeks. But the idea of him starting from the start in an FA Cup match against Middlesbrough is going to be a physical team as well. It would be a bit like, is that really the best way to ease him back into the side? But Ralph Rangnick, being a sly old dog, throwing something out there, going, he might even start in the starting 11. But I would like you. I was surprised by how many people aren't going to be playing. Like he said with Cavani, basically saying that he couldn't have played anyway when it comes to jet lag. So giving him a couple of days, fine. Lindelof, he's been ill all week, so he's not playing. Lingard's not available because he requested a couple of extra days to get his head straight.
We didn't talk about that actually as well, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So he said that, given everything's gone on, he requested a few extra days. He's going to be back next Monday. And again, fairness to Rangnick, basically said that, yep, I gave him those extra days, but he's going to be back Monday and he's going to be back being professional and being available for us to play. He very much stressed that, he's always been professional. It's not as if he's never showed up or anything like that. And he also said Eric Bailly came back yesterday, but still got some problems with his ankle, so he's not going to be playing.
Bailly's always just quickly. Bailly's always got something in it.
Oh yeah,
with his ankle. Bloody! I just see the penalty he took. Fucking tried a no-look penalty.
Oh. Maybe that's what he did it from.
Doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
I got Eric Bailly, man. You gotta love him. He's so nuts.
So, and then Luke Shaw, he said he's going to be playing because Tellez played 90 minutes for Brazil. So when it comes to actually picking the side, realistically, it's not too difficult. When you've got that many people out and we're a bit thinner on the ground, you go, actually, it's not actually going to be too difficult to name that side.
Yeah. James puts up pick up James. He says it's understandable from Cavani though. Is it understandable from Cavani though? I'm a huge fan of his, but he has so much time off. I saw this a little bit on social media, sort of people digging him out, saying, he's had time off, etc., etc. I mean, look, Fred's back already. You can say it, but look, I think for me personally, and people might see this differently in the comments. It's a good talking point there, James. Is it? Would you criticize Cavani for saying, "Oh, why are you saying that you can't play when Fred's back?" Well, Tellez isn't back. I would say, and also there's such a long flight. He's got back probably yesterday or whatever to play in the game. He's not going to play tomorrow anyway. But then we have got a game on Tuesday at Burnley, so
I think that's the point. I think that's the point that Rangnick was trying to point out is I gave him some time off, but he wasn't going to play anyway. He wasn't going to be involved because of jet lag and that situation. Plus, we also know, given Edison Cavani's fitness record, who wants to rush him back? Who wants to play him in a game?
I think that's the key thing.
Because he'd snap in half, and then we wouldn't have him for 3 or 4 weeks. And then we'd be saying he's injury prone. So I, to be honest, would rather have the other side of the situation of we know his fitness situation. We know that he's going to be important for us for the remainder of the season. We know he can't be available for every game because physically he's just not up to it. Why would we risk injuring him in an FA Cup match against a championship side when we've got bigger Premier League games coming up that we need to win? We can't afford to drop many more points in the Premier League. We can't afford to be, getting more, further.
He hasn't actually been playing that well, apart from the last when he came off the bench against West Ham and changed the game. He's actually been a mixture of, like you said, just injured or not there, and then wasn't playing well.
And usually when he has a good game, like say when we played Spurs, then he gets injured and he's out for 3 or 4 weeks. So he can't build any momentum. So I'd rather him just be like, okay, not for, like I said, not for an FA Cup match against.
Especially now at the moment when we've gone back to playing one up front, it's like Ronaldo can play.
Exactly.
Abab said Fred is fit most of the time, and I think that's the key there. Fred's one of these players who is he's a machine. He is a machine. Like he is very, very rarely injured. Very rarely, and his recovery is spot on. Like he's always at it, Not everyone is that. In fact, if there was a player who was the complete opposite to Fred, it would be Cavani in terms of how much injuries that he has. I mean, James says this time maybe not in isolation for criticism, but in general, it happens too often combined with injury record. And I think that's what it is. Like, I think Cavani's just is a cult hero at Man United. Like, we like when he plays because of what he can offer, and he has been good when he's played. He really has. But the question mark of why we were frustrated when we panic signed him, when he'd already been out for God knows how long, he couldn't even play for us for a little bit because he had to get up to speed because he was already not playing for PSG. For us, his knee, he always has these bad injuries, and he always has done. So I just think that's just the way you've got to do it. With Paul Pogba, though, I think it's going to be interesting of where he's actually going to play because Fred's not going to play. So McTominay and Matic is in there, potentially.
Yeah.
Does he just go McTominay and Pogba then? Or does he look to put Pogba on the left when you look at Anthony Elanga, who's been doing well? Rashford's starting to build back again. I don't think he'll shoehorn him into the left right now. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Home game against Middlesbrough as well.
It's a really tough one because and it's so frustrating, isn't it? Because Paul Pogba, because every time we talk about Paul Pogba coming back, then the discussion goes, where's he going to play? How do you fit him in? How do you get the best out of him? And it feels like such a topic that we've said over and over again. But problem is, the reason we talk about it is because it's a topic that hasn't been solved. It's a question that hasn't been answered yet. And I don't know, especially in this 4-3-3 that Ranić's going for. I don't see like that midfield. I don't know if it's either Pogba or Bruno in that role. I don't know. I think it's fascinating.
He's strong. Bruno's playing, definitely.
But that's what I mean. But then you would say so. You would say that midfield three. Then so what's the midfield?
I'll say what Connect Reels has put there: Matic, Pogba, and Bruno. Oh no, wait, McTominay. No, McTominay. I think he goes. McTominay. If he does start Pogba, because he still might not start. Do you know what I mean? He still might not start. I think if Pogba doesn't start, then obviously with just what we've got available, it has to be Matic, McTominay, and Bruno.
Yeah.
If Pogba's ready and they're going to start him, McTominay still plays because he still wants the legs, he still wants the tempo, he still wants intensity. He ain't gonna, and you don't have Fred as well, so he needs that. Ralph likes that, so McTominay definitely starts, and I think it goes Pogba, McTominay, Bruno.
So do you reckon he would go that? And to be fair, at home against a championship side, I think
at home against a championship side, exactly. I think if we get overrun in the midfield too, if they play a back five with midfield two, we've got a big problem. If you got Pogba, Bruno, and thing, but then this again, this is onto the game actually, because if you look at how Middlesbrough play, they got attacking fullbacks. Chris Wilder, he plays a back five. He caused us problems last time he played us. He beat us. In lockdown. I remember that we got back to 1-1 and then we conceded a stupid goal and lost 2-1 at Old Trafford. Back five. They can cause you trouble, and he's done well at Middlesbrough since he's gone there. I've taken over after Neil Warnock, and I know it's not the same level of team, but if we just honest with ourselves, look at how we played against a very well organized back five against Wolves. We struggled, and they had Moutinho and Neves there. Now listen, again, like I said, the quality of player 100% is not they haven't got Nelson Semedo, they haven't got
Neves,
Marcel on the left, they haven't got Neves, Moutinho, Jimenez, etc. I get that, but in terms of the way they're still going to be at it. I was watching a piece by some Middlesbrough journalists who was basically saying that they will look to sit in tight and counter Man United with some quick players, and Ralph even touched on it as well. So how do you see it planning out? Because we do have to be at it. Yes, it's a championship team, but this is their cup final. Although it's not, it is for them.
Yeah, do you know what? I think it's going to be a really tough game because, like you said, Sheffield United caused us problems. And for me, this Middlesbrough side is essentially the same sort of quality. For me, that Sheffield United side was essentially, maybe take out a couple of players there, but was essentially a championship side that was in the Premier League. And that's
true what Jason says as well. We changed the system since the Wolves game, though. That is true.
That's true. That is very true. But it's also a different version of a back five, isn't it, as well? Because your back five against Wolves is your more traditional back five, just with your three centre-backs and your wing-backs. But the back five against the Chris Wilder version of the back five is with the wide centre-backs as well, sort of the overlapping centre-backs as well. So we get to a point where not only do you have the wing-backs, but you've got these wide centre-backs, you get overloaded on the wings as well. And I think that's going to be fascinating as well, because sometimes, especially if we did the 4-2-2, I'd be really worried because we're so narrow that I'd be like, we're going to get overloaded on the
because
sides.
that's what we played
really
against
badly.
Wolves, and we were
Exactly,
awful,
and we just got so absolutely rinsed down the flanks. Bit different now because you would think maybe if it's Alanga and Sancho, they're going to be up against it because it's going to be essentially it's going to be 2v2 at points there, and that's going to be fascinating. So. I am a bit curious by it, and I wouldn't be surprised. We saw what Ralph said in the prior press conference when he said, look, I think every team nowadays needs to be able to switch formations mid-game like that, and I wouldn't be shocked if, we go with the 4-3-3 to start off with, but make no mistake, if it ain't working, Ralph will just switch. He will go to something else. At this point, he knows these players. He's not... I think in his mind, when he came to Manchester United, he had one way of playing. He thought, we're going to play 4-2-2. It's how I play, and this is what we're going to do. He realizes now with this group of players... I've just basically got to adapt to every situation, mid-game, prior to the game. I've got to tinker all the time and just get results. Style of play be damned. All I've got to get is results, and I think that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and especially in cup competition, which we'd love to win the FA Cup this year. It'd be massive.
Yeah.
Daniela says, think he will keep the back four the same. Well, no, he won't because Tellez is not going to play. So he says Luke Shaw is going to start. So we know that's going to change. He definitely goes with Varane and Maguire, no doubt about that. There's no buy-in, there's no Lindelof, so those two will definitely play. And I think Wan-Bissaka's back tomorrow as well.
And then doesn't it look smart to keep Phil Jones, by the way?
Yeah.
If you've got Bailly and Lindelof not available, who have you got? You got Phil Jones. That's the only other centre back we have.
Although Phil Jones, we said you can go, but he was like, "No, I'll stay."
No, but you can see that.
But it's true though. 100%. Yeah.
Because if
100%.
one of them goes down tomorrow, and you never know with Varane, if one of them goes down, you'd be like, and I tell you what, Maguire and Jones centre backs. Oh, geez, that is quite worrying. But even that's quite curious, isn't it? Because if Lindelof wasn't ill, because we've sort of said, look, given the circumstance obviously that happened with Lindelof and his family, there was a chance that Maguire wasn't coming back into the side. And even now, the decision that would have to be made of, well, actually, Lindelof and Varane were playing well, but then Maguire came in and played well. Again, the decision's already been made for Ranić. It's the two centre-backs again. Don't change it.
Yeah. What did you make about this? Quote, this is what I want to see from Ranić. This is what I want to see. Offensive fullbacks playing almost like wingers do.
Love this question.
And at the same time, be modern defenders winning one-on-one duels and switching sides from one side to the other when we have to mark through. This is what we want to see. And he also says Man United's fullbacks will be in an important position tomorrow because Middlesbrough will play with a back five with very offensive wing-backs. So it will be very important that we play tactically on a high level with regard to our fullbacks. What did you make of that, especially the first quote?
I liked it. I give Andy Mitten the credit for the question because it was very simple, very to the point. What are you looking for in your fullbacks at Manchester United? That's a proper question. That is a good question. And it's a good answer because it's something that Manchester United fans do want to hear about. They want to hear about tactics, player roles, etc. So I really did enjoy that question. And I think, I don't know if it's too much of a revelation.
Everyone's coming for KG, so just quickly. KG probably cried when Ralph mentioned that. There's no hope for Aaron Wan-Bissaka now. Wow, it's all starting again.
Well, he said he's going to be in the squad tomorrow, isn't he? I think he said that he was available.
Yeah. He might start.
Dallow's starting. There's no way. Well, it depends. Depends, doesn't it? Because they've got a game on Tuesday. Exactly. But to the point of him saying, he said it with another quote in that way. He basically said, look, I want them to do both. Yes, they're going to be defenders, but I want them to be attackers as well. I want offensive defenders. And when you do look at that, not to make it, this big Wan-Bissaka conversation once again, but you look at it and say, well, that's not what Wan-Bissaka is. He is not an offensive fullback. I've seen some people, KG has said it a couple of times as well, going, well, Dalot in a couple of other games, he was putting crosses in that were no better than Wan-Bissaka's crosses, etc. I think we've got to the point now where Ranić's been at United long enough that he obviously trusts Dalot. Obviously. That's his pick there. He obviously trusts him and he feels like he's his go-to. So I think it's interesting. I don't think he's still completely satisfied, it must be said. I don't think he's completely satisfied with, everything. Because when he was asked in another press conference, what does Dalot need to improve? And he said, he also needs to improve defensively as well. So I think it is interesting, that quote. I think that we spoke about it the other day as well. I talked yesterday with DJ, that how many of these players have improved under Ranić. You would point to people like McTominay and Fred had better games. And I think you would look at the fullbacks in general. You would look at certainly Dalot, Tellez have absolutely improved and really come much higher up the pecking order since he's come in. So And tomorrow, that's when arguably the game's going to be won, is on those flanks. So I think it's quite interesting. What did you think of it?
Yeah, I think it just shows exactly what his intentions are, like for that position and what he expects. So, i.e., when players aren't playing, he's basically set the benchmark of what he expects fullbacks to do. So when
Yeah.
one or the other's out of favor, it's because you ain't doing it, mate. I think is that like he's set out. I want you high. I want you to be able to attack. But also I want you to be able to
everything.
be shot. Yeah, exactly. And I love just the reference to modern day fullback. Like that's every other team seems to have it, or a lot of the best teams of the teams that we want to catch. They all have it. Do you know what I mean? Andrew C says, lads, sorry to be a downer, but United have made me depressed with the Greenwood incident and lack of transfers. Maybe the return of actual football helps. I think it's important to remember that, Andrew, that look, football's back. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background, which that will be, the investigation's going on, and we all just kind of have to let that be now. But the most important thing is Manchester United, in terms of there's a game on, obviously in terms of that situation, the most important thing was the victim. But what I mean is that the club is going on, and I think Ralph Rangnick dealt with it well. The players seem like they've dealt with it the best they can. He said they've had a normal training week, and what can we do? What can we do? That's all we can do is the boys are playing tomorrow, and the players that are there, we want them to win. You know what I mean? Get through to the next round. I will, yeah. So the thing about the fullback, Abab says modern day fullback.
By the way.
Oh,
I told you Friday night, Friday afternoon viewing. He's a regular. He's one of our regulars.
But you know what annoys me though? Yeah, KG. What is this Aaron Wan-Bissaka talk? Look, what I will say, it's like KG's got some special thing on his phone, where as soon as like someone talks about Wan-Bissaka, it just goes off. He probably wasn't even on the stream, but it just put in betweeners where Jay's got the fingers like beep 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 beep, or is it Neil?
Yeah,
and it's so funny. It's like that. It's just like as soon as Wan-Bissaka gets spoken about, it's like.
See, I would do a Spider-Man reference, but you won't understand it, which is frustrating. He has,
but still do it because there's loads of people that do.
So he has a Spidey sense for Wan-Bissaka.
I know what that is.
When someone's talking about Wan-Bissaka, wow, the thing is, I never know with you.
Oh, I don't even know what a Spidey sense is. Everyone knows what that is.
Wow.
From watching the cartoons and that.
Wow, okay.
It's when basically he's like, shit, something's going on. Like, I need to go. Danger's coming.
Wow.
I need to like.
Yeah, they always say that in the thought bubbles, don't they? Shit, something's going on. I've got to go.
I need to get the canisters out because you put the canisters underneath the sleeve, and then the thing comes out.
Depends. In the Tobey Maguire film, it actually comes out of him, which is a bit weird. How does that work? But my point is that when someone's talking about Wan-Bissaka, KG just stops and the hairs on his arms to sort of dart up a little bit, and he goes, "Wait a minute, I think someone's talking about Wan-Bissaka. Got to tune in." That's what he does.
It's mad. I don't get it. Like, no, and the thing is, no one was even cussing him. They're just saying, "Look, it's just interesting." Ralph says that, and Dallas been playing more recently. It just shows that at the moment, the manager is going with the other fullback. I'm just saying the other. As I said, I'm not using it as a stick to beat Wan-Bissaka. I'm not saying he's rubbish. I'm not saying don't let him play ever again. I'm not saying he's done. I'm just saying, as it stands, the manager is going with that fullback. And to be fair to Wan-Bissaka, in KG's defense, because KG's not here to defend his son, who he actually did disown. But Wan-Bissaka's been ill, and then he was injured a bit before that. So there's a little bit of everything. Limania 44 says United will keep all the British flops and will bring more so they can avoid the scrutiny of the media. They know the media will always protect them. And this one here from Wayne List says, if I, a 45-year-old fan since 83, now thinks, what's the point? What chance of grabbing the next gen of fans? Owner board as half-hearted as the protest. I'm broken. So Wayne really, really feeling it. Basically saying, how are we going to attract the new fans? The full view is going to be peak on Sunday. Yeah, it will. It will. Well, you never know though, because Wan-Bissaka might play tomorrow and do really well. You don't know.
But even to that point, then he'll get into, I told you, sources. I'm always right. People just don't understand. I'm always right. I don't have sources. I'm reckless. Spaghetti analysis out again.
KG says, I wasn't. Something told me Wan-Bissaka is being disrespected. I
told you. Spidey sense.
So he's got a Wan-B sense.
Spidey sense. Yeah.
Spider one sense. Yeah, he has got it. He's got a Spidey sense. Yeah, that's true. Fair enough. He just felt it. Yeah, that's true. And Abab says, all of these all of these illnesses are a code for dropped. Something is going on. Shit. Yep, there you go. So he's got the Spidey sense.
Yeah,
He's the Wambi sense. What else did Ralph Rangnick get into as well? He wouldn't get involved in the Pochettino thing. And how the hell could you expect him to? I've had a few conversations, and
this is part of my problem with some of these press conferences. They ask questions like that, knowing full well you're not going to get a response, but they ask it anyway. Speculation on Poch leaving PSG. Is there a direction for yourself moving upstairs next season? Ralph's response: I have no idea. My full focus is on the training group right now. We have games coming up in 3 different competitions. I couldn't give any reasonable answer to that question. My focus is on the next couple of games, weeks and months. Because what else is he going to say? He's going to come out and go, yeah, I spoke to Poch the other day. He's really up for it. I don't know what I'm going to be doing next season, but yeah, he's going to be coming in. Oh, yeah, that's just going to be dropped February 3rd, 2:00 in the press conference. Yeah, that's going to happen. I mean, come on. I mean, I know they do it for the response, obviously, but I think maybe the biggest thing to take out of that is when he was asked, do you know what your situation is going to be at the end of the season? Once again, he's just gone, I don't know. I have no idea. But I guess on the flip side of things, whilst it would be good to have this sort of succession plan, I guess, in place, which we know is not in place at all, but I don't know if I really want him to be fully focused on what his job's going to be next season right now. I want him to be focused on the team. I want him to be focused on the ongoing competitions. Yes, there would be an element of job security, but even if it doesn't happen, he's getting paid. So,
of course.
I don't know. What do you think?
There's got to be a little bit of something where he does know a little bit, though. But I expect him not to tell us. Like, I don't think there's absolutely no talk about what's going on. Like, I think they'll probably say, like,
cares? I wouldn't care. I honestly would not care.
What if you do you not think there's a bit of him that, like, if I could do really well, actually, I actually could. Like, imagine I won the FA Cup, like, at Man United, like, and then I got him top 4, or I won the Champions League. Maybe I could stay up. Like, don't you think there's any little ambition in that actually maybe thinks he wants?
I think maybe in his mind there might be some ambition to become the permanent manager. Maybe he thinks, But I think when they're asking him, do you know what your job's going to be next season in terms of referencing the consultancy thing? I don't think myself, and maybe this isn't the case with him, but myself, I wouldn't care. I'd be like, well, because either way, like, it either will get figured out or I've got a contract. So even if I'm just sitting at home, I'm going to be getting a check every week anyway. It doesn't matter. That's why he asked for it. He said, I don't want to be an interim that just comes in and disappears at the end of the season. Ideally,
he got a job out of him. He hustled him. Yeah, he did hustle.
Ideally, I'd want to have a job going forward, whether that's as the full-time manager or as a consultant. But ultimately, I signed on it. You committed to it. So whilst I don't know what it is, I'm doing something next year, even if it's sitting at home. Water in the plants. I'll be the most expensive plant water ever. AKA gardener.
I was going to say,
plant water,
mate. Yeah, that's not even a thing. Like, you're just a gardener, You could be a bit more techie with it, landscaping or something like that, but it's a gardener, isn't it? Yeah. KG the comedian says, anyhow, Wan-Bissaka gets an assist, I would go crazy. Well, that's shocking, to be honest, KG, because whoever gets an assist, you should celebrate. If Dalot gets an assist, you won't go crazy. This is the problem with people like you, KG. You've got too many favorites. You should be going crazy. Whoever scores, whoever assists, it doesn't matter. But what you're suggesting is that because it's Wan-Bissaka, you're going to celebrate it even more. Why?
And to be fair to KG, behavior. I think I would, if Aaron Wan-Bissaka got an assist, I think I'd also go crazy because I'd have to go and check the window and see that how's frozen over and pigs are flying at the same time.
Oh, Owen, that was deep, man. I don't know if that was uncalled for. Because really, there was no AWB slander, and you've just,
Wow, KG, this is why.
But he deserves it, though. He deserves it. KG deserves that. Oh, yeah. Owen went in, fam. He went in. But listen, I'm just saying, whoever contributes to Manchester United winning the game, whether it's Dalot or Telles or Luke Shaw or Wan-Bissaka, we should celebrate them all equally. Is it Stamford Bridge? No. Is it the one at Old Trafford where Rashford scored a header? I don't know. I don't know. But KG would say, when's the last time, what's his face got an assist as well? Dalot. When's the last time he got one? Can't remember. Someone probably put it in the comments.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, the fact that when it goes to like the Wan-Bissaka thing, people go, yeah, when he did that cross for Martial in 2019, that was good. Or 2020.
Oh, it was the
beginning.
Martial header. Yeah, that was one at the bridge,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah. Prior to the pandemic, a million years ago.
Owen, you're dread, man. You're dread. Cantona says, it's not slander if it's facts. He can only slide tackle. Oh, wow. 1 foot, no aerial presence, no pass, off the field issues, hasn't evolved since Palace. KG, that was a super chat. I'm just reading what's on the screen.
Out.
Is Cantona's right to pay for what?
Just reading it out.
They are the views of Canada, not necessarily my views. Big up United Arena. United Arena says there's too much professionalism in football, due to which many of these things aren't openly discussed. It's a very non-candid sport, sadly. Yeah, you do get a lot of that where a lot of things aren't discussed. I do get that, and I feel like if we want the information like told to us in a certain way, it's just not how it works. It's just not how it works. So I think you're right. You're right there. Just quickly, Ziad said, Flex, do you think Poch is old news? I was arguing about this with Alexis on Complex last night. Pick up Alexis, my guy Alexis.
Yeah.
And here's my thing about the Poch thing, where everyone's saying he's like, oh, forget Poch, he can't come anywhere near this. What's he ever won? He's shit, he's that, he's this. He's going to win. I know they went out on penalties in whatever cup it was, He's going to win the league, So when he does win that league, you just can't say the thing of he hasn't won anything ever. What's he ever won? But then the new stick to beat him with is it's only PSG. How easy it. So what do you want anyone at PSG to do?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean,
Thomas
this was my point.
only won the league there and maybe a cup. Like, what do you do? So my thing is, I just want it to be equal. So in terms of Poch and Ten Hag, because then you can say Ten Hag's won. What's he done? He's won in the Eredivisie where Ajax, exactly, where Ajax, like everyone's like, well, Ajax should win that league. Like I say, Farmers League, I could win that. Yeah, you give me the Ajax team in PSV sometimes come knock in and Feyenoord come knock in, but Ajax are the biggest team. They're the best. Yeah, they always have been.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like if Ten Hag is regarded, and everyone says Ten Hag, but he got that young team to the semi-final. Yeah, okay, and should never have lost, and did, to guess who. So, and I'm not even saying that's why Poch is better, but I'm just saying they're kind of. I don't mind which one we get. I actually don't mind. I'm just saying that for me to finish off on that before you have your bit, Owen, like to just disregard Poch like he's some dead manager. Shit manager, crap. What's he ever done? It's like, one, you're just disregarding how he literally transformed Spurs, and you can laugh at Spurs because Spurs are Spurs and they never win anything. But the way that you can't just X out the job that he did. Then it's almost like he went to like the job of death, which is like PSG. It doesn't matter if you win, doesn't matter if you lose, you get killed for it. If you win, you get battered for it. Like you can't do anything. It's almost like, would it have been better just being a free agent from Spurs to now? Then people would say, "Oh, look what he did." Though, do you know what I mean? I feel like they're both the same. Ten Hag thing.
That's my point.
There's much of a muchness.
So I was saying to DJ last night, and that I'm a bit like you. I don't actually know I've made my mind.
I'm not really fussed.
I'm
not really. If it's Ten Hag, I'll be happy. If it's Poch, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I don't think I've really made up my mind on it, but because we was talking last night that the sort of general reaction to Poch, isn't it, is he's bottler. What's he won? What's he ever won? What sort of serious trophy has he won? Yeah, he's going to win the league with PSG this season. But then on the flip side, you say, well, Ten Hag, what's he won? He won the Eredivisie. Now, I believe that he might have actually stopped a bit of a trophy drought prior to doing that, and maybe the Ajax fans appreciate that. But in fairness, they're still Ajax. They're still a very big club. And I think also that title race this season is way closer than I think people realize. There's only a few points.
They're 3 points behind, I think, PSV.
Exactly. And yes, you would say, but he got Ajax to a semi-final of the Champions League and they shouldn't be getting there. On the flip side, you would say Pochettino got Spurs to a final of the Champions League. They really shouldn't be getting there.
Yeah, and they both didn't win it, let's add. They both didn't win
it. Exactly. So I don't know. I think maybe it's because we've been way more exposed to Poch here that a lot of fans have maybe had a far closer look at him than we have at Ten Hag. And maybe that's the sort of situation. A bit like with those, with the Kamara and Zakarias. People hear them linked and will go and they see that they, other clubs might be interested and we go, oh, yeah, I want a bit of them. And then you also have to flip it and go, okay, how much have you actually seen of this player? How much have you actually seen of this manager? Because certainly, for instance, I'm not sure. Maybe the majority of the people that want Ten Hag over Poch because Poch is terrible in their eyes have put the same amount of or had the same amount of time watching a Ten Hag side or watching Ten Hag that they have had on Pochettino, if that makes sense. I don't know if it's completely balanced. And
it's like what I said about the
Ten Hag,
players.
yeah, that's my point.
Like,
is
like
that
things just get pushed onto you because in the media it's the new in thing, it's the new in thing. When you really deep it, how much do you watch it?
Exactly. And to be honest, like we're assuming that PSG aren't going to win the Champions League this season. Who knows, right? Who knows? Maybe they probably won't. But
imagine
who knows?
people being in the mud. I mean, like you said, they're not going to win it. But
and people go as well. People go the style of play that PSG are playing, considering the players is terrible. But then you also go, but Thomas Tuchel's got a style of play. He couldn't implement that at PSG because nobody can. You're telling me you're going to get a front three of Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi to press? That is never going to happen.
Exactly. And there's reasons why managers kind of leave there and be like, oh, it's just a tough place, PSG. It's just not. It's a very particular club and it's run in a very meticulous way. And I just feel like, Matey says there, PSG is a manager's nightmare. On paper, it looks like it should be heaven. But actually, you're managing superstars, super egos. You've got a board / people who run the club who is pretty much, you talk about puppets and dictatorships.
Yeah, telling you who to pick.
Telling you who to pick, telling you who you're gonna buy. I just feel like it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't job. And as we saw with Thomas Tuchel, he came out of there winning the league and got to a final, and lost, but and probably a cup as well. But he got out there doing okay at PSG, but he wasn't like.
Yeah, I mean that season when he got sacked, people come and go, yeah, but Poch like when he came in didn't win the league, but Thomas Tuchel when he left, PSG was second. Like they were winning the league that season anyway.
Depends how you want to look at it. Andrew
Yeah.
C says it's a bit harsh calling KG a prat. Don't have to call him a prat, but he says your son is pants. Couldn't cross a road, let alone cross a ball. I wish Dalot scores the winner in the Champions League final and Aaron Wan-Bissaka gets sold to Salford for free. Gets sold for free. If you sell, you can't sell for free. But I know what you mean. Gets released for free. Given to them for free. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I just want the same energy, which is that actually when you deep it, they're both just about on par. I just think they're just, one's up and coming and, looks really exciting. And Ten Hag, I do agree. I do like Ten Hag, by the way. I really like him. I do think he looks good. I'm not saying he's crap and why would I want him there? He's done nothing. Who's he? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying just to disrespect the stick that Pochettino gets beaten with. I just think it's a bit unfair, personally.
Yeah, I think like you said, I think that, and maybe this is where it comes from too, is Manchester United, certainly in the Ed Woodward era, went with tried and trusted. They went with people that were known, whether it was Mourinho, whether it was Van Gaal, whether it was, Ollie wasn't really known, but he was known to the club, right? But I think people maybe don't want to see someone that I guess they know so well, like Pochettino. I think, like you said,
that's what it is. They want the new thing. They want to see it out.
They want to see United maybe, go for something like actually be a bit bold, be a bit bold and go for something that's maybe a bit more of a risk. And who knows? Maybe it'll be the right thing. I think also the discussions also have to be held that would Ten Hag be able to thrive with the current structure at Manchester United? He's got arguably one of the best structures in football above it in Van der Sar and Overmars. You ain't getting that at Man United too.
No. I agree. Exactly how much of the structure is following Ten Hag with him, of why he's so successful.
Exactly. And they'll say, I see some people going, bring Van der Sar and Overmars with him. Yeah, because that's going to happen. Because we're going to have Overmars come in to replace John Murtough, and we're going to have Edwin van der Sar be the CEO, even though we just got a chief executive. Again, it's like you also have to be realistic.
Exactly. It's just not. It just isn't realistic, and that's what we forget as football fans, But as on the screen there, Santiago says, "Is Ajax's Champions League run more impressive than Spurs' Champions League run?" Well, look, I think sometimes that's what people kind of maybe go from. Is it was so eye-catching with what Ajax was doing with these players that were up and coming. They were shooting to stardom. Donny van der Beek, Ziyech, Tadic, two legs, went to Chelsea. I think they won. And then what they did to Tottenham in the first leg. And Donny scored in that game. I remember watching that. They just was really exciting, weren't they? Had Delit as well. They were just doing really well. And
But on the
it
flip
is.
side, Spurs
But on
come
the
back and they beat Man City over 2 legs,
They
right?
beat Man City over 2 legs. They beat Pep's Man City over 2 legs, which actually, I know that last minute goal where Sterling was offside. Well, we thought it was scored and he didn't.
Yeah,
VAR ruled it
he was
out.
offside.
There you go. Pochettino in tears, and then being down to an Ajax team like that, somehow people can call it freak of nature from Lucas Moura or whatever, but Pochettino managed to get a tune out of his team, 1-0 down at halftime, pretty much out of the Champions League, and they came back and got 3-3 draw or whatever it was. Did they come back and win, or was it 3-3? I can't remember. But they've done a madness and won on away goals, didn't they? So Abab says, Poch is like that guy you like to flirt with for years, but when you finally get together, the relationship is a disaster. So Abab's pretty much made their mind up. It's like, yeah, I flirted with the idea, but actually now I've got a chance of actually having a relationship. She thinks that it's gonna be crap. So, and I think that does echo a lot of what I've seen online and people that I speak to. They're just not feeling the Pochettino thing at all. They're just really not. I actually think I might be in a minority by thinking Pochettino is still good, still all right. Personally, I don't know. I feel like I am.
I think we might have missed a super chat, by the way, as well. This one.
Oh, go for it. Yeah.
Big up Flex and Owen. I know he's not ready, but what if Potter entered the conversation? Seriously improve Brighton and Hove Albion. What do you say about Potter? He always comes up. I feel like he always comes up in these kind of whenever like a top 4, top 6 sides, the managerial vacancy. People always say about the Graham Potter thing, and maybe you could say it's almost the British. No, it's not the British equivalent of Ten Hag. Maybe that's a bit much, but it's maybe that idea of it's a bit more unknown.
Up and coming.
You know?
Yeah, a bit more unknown. Yeah. I feel like he definitely Graham Potter deserves to see less, go up a level, go up a stage. He's one of the ones that could be really refreshing. I don't personally get the vibe of, bring him in at Man United. I'm here for that. Yeah.
What is the next step for him then, do you think? If it's not United, I feel like because I struggle to see what is that next step?
Say Brendan Rodgers left Leicester.
Maybe, yeah.
That could be good. Something like the Everton job could have been good, but obviously ruled himself out. I know with where they are in league versus where Brighton are, but in terms of the club, a Villa job could have been perfect for him. Something like that type of thing. Do you know what I mean? But a Spurs at the time, I thought maybe they could have looked at him. So I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh. If he did end up, listen, I'd back him, but I don't think he'd be on our top.
No, I'm not sure.
But he does. He has been really good though. He has been.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Actually, if he wasn't at Brighton, he probably would be considered more. So maybe I'm being a bit harsh by beating him with.
Well, it's a bit like Brendan Rodgers when he went from Swansea to Liverpool. That's a jump, wasn't it? I mean, I know Liverpool were different at the time, and it wasn't today's Liverpool, but even at the time, that was a jump. So it's not exactly unprecedented.
And he nearly won the league as well.
Exactly. So yeah, I agree. I'm not sure it'd be Man United, even if Man United not doing well and a Man United that are licking their wounds, is still a ginormous job because of that pressure that comes with it. So maybe that jump would be too big. But I'm fascinated to see what he would do, like you said, with maybe a bit of a bigger side with a little bit more quality.
If Moyes didn't work out or whatever, West Ham maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that. Patrick says Ten Hag is bald and so is Pep. Must mean he's good.
Logic.
People just want the cardigan vibes with the little polo top or something, little jumper, little knitted crew neck. You know what I mean? Flexi B says, Flex, when are you next going on Sky Sports? I don't know, actually. I don't know. Probably soon, sometime. I'm not sure. But as soon as I am, you guys will know. Before we finish off.
Yes.
Kind
of diverted off the preview so much, by the way.
Yeah. That's what happens. Over 800 people watching as well, which is amazing. Smash a like on the video. And like I said, we're not far off 95K. We're probably about 80 or 90 subscribers away from 95K. So if you could smash a like and a subscribe if you haven't done so already. To finish off on the game,
By the way, with the subscribe thing, because logic would suggest that at least maybe like 10% of people that are watching aren't subscribed right now.
Yeah.
About 80 people.
Yeah.
Which might be enough. So if you haven't,
we can do it.
Logic would suggest that maybe there's enough people in here to get the job done. Who knows? This could be magic.
Exactly. This could be it. This could be it. The FA Cup is important. We want to win it. I don't care what anyone says. Well, that's a bit rude. I do care what other people say, but in my opinion, I want to win this. We haven't won anything for a while now, and we're not winning the Premier League. So, we've got to go for the Champions League and the FA Cup as well as finishing fourth. Think we'll get the job done tomorrow, though?
I mean, you would think so. I don't think we're still at the point that there are no replays, right? As well, I think.
Yeah, no
Honestly,
replays.
They shouldn't be. So it's going to be decided on the night either way. I think. I mean, you never know, obviously, because of the FA Cup. I mean, logic and on paper, we should beat a Championship side at Old Trafford. This is also Manchester United this season, so who knows? And especially against smaller sides, our record is, this season, if they do decide to sort of park the bus, if you will, sit behind the ball, we're not great at breaking that down. We obviously need an early goal to settle things. If we get an early goal, then you could see us getting a maybe 3 or 4, and that would be really good. Because, for instance, like when we came out of the result against Brentford, I know we didn't score obviously early on. It was quite late on in that one. But the point being, when you come out of a game, when you score 3 goals, it's like, okay, there's a bit of optimism. There's something to really build upon there. So I think we will win. I'm not sure if it's going to be super straightforward. I think it might be because we're just not consistent enough over 90 minutes. So I think there will be points where maybe it's like, we might have to ride our luck a little bit. I think it's going to be interesting to see if, going from a goalkeeper perspective, if Dean Henderson starts over David De Gea. I think that's quite curious because that's the only game I could see him playing.
Yeah, it's true.
A Championship side in the FA Cup. So, but then I also think Ralph is going to be like, look, I mean, I want to win something because even if I'm just going to be the interim, if I can come out of it top 4 and a trophy,
and we can't be picky. We got to pick strongest team, and we got players out as well. So 100%.
Yeah, you say that. When's the game? Game's what? Next game's Tuesday after Friday.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think that will play into it as well?
Little bit, but there's quite a few players out there, and we've let a few players go. So actually, in terms of the big squad that you would probably need in terms of rotating, because you've got game 4 days later, 3 days later, whatever it is, 4 days. You have to kind of think, you have to just play your strongest team. Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 3 days recovery, games on Tuesday. So 4, you still should be all right. You should be all right in terms of, most of them. Fred will come back in. You should imagine
Cavani will come back in.
Cavani will come back in. Lingard maybe.
Because of the squad.
Even though he might, if he's up for a couple of days, he might only start training on Monday, which is so he probably wouldn't be ready to start.
True.
So but so you have to see. But I just feel like it's the business end of the season. We've got to be ready. Hopefully, Tellers will be back then. A couple more. So we'll see. But I do think we'll get a job done. But I think again it'll just be Man United style. Don't think it will be amazing. I don't. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Wicked show, good fun. We will be with you guys tomorrow. Road trip settings, match view settings, fan view settings. It's match day, so you don't know what to expect on the match day experience here on United View as we keep growing. So speak to everyone again very, very soon. We're out of here. Peace.